Hello and welcome to Mickeyology, where we take Disney a little too seriously. I'm Austin Rathball, and it is time once again for me to respond to you guys and all of your great comments that you've left on my recent videos. I want to apologize if I don't get to your comments. There are always a lot of great ones, and I appreciate all of you for watching and commenting. Our first comment here is on the When and Where Does Wall-E Take Place video. Grimfan98 says, Mr. Rathball, it will be surely insane to think this, but personally I date the 1937 animated Snow White shortly after 1862, because the castle in which Snow White and the Evil Queen live was modeled after the Alcázar of Segovia in Spain, which was destroyed by a fire in 1862 and was rebuilt. I think this date makes much more sense because if we place this movie in the 1500s, the cuckoo clocks don't exist yet. If we place it in the 1600s, it is too early for the cuckoo clocks to be popular. I think that this movie maybe could be placed around 1882 because I read restoration efforts began in 1882 and stonework was completed in 1896. Great comment. Yeah, I was not familiar with the history of this castle, and it's really cool that you were able to dig into that and find that information. And I don't think that's an insane theory. I think that works. And of course, I found the music video that they did recently where Rachel Zegler performed a song from the new Snow White at that castle. And the castle is very beautiful. So thank you for bringing the history of that amazing place to our attention. This next comment is on the When and Where Does Beauty and the Beast Take Place video. Joaquin Violi 5595 says, how do you know the live action takes place in 1740? The closest I heard is Gaston's actor claiming he fought Portuguese pirates when he was 16 in 1740. Good question. So what he's referring to there is, I believe, a Luke Evans interview where he talks about this whole backstory that he had invented for Gaston. However, the reason I put the movie in 1740 is because of the book Tale as Old as Time by Charles Solomon, because that book, which was officially published by Disney, says that the official date and place of that movie is Villeneuve, France, 1740. Let's see, this next one comes from the When and Where Does Tangled Take Place video, and Carter McHugh 4017 says, if all of the dates are right, why are there no guns in the Tangled movie or in Frozen, which happens shortly after? Is their technology slightly behind or is it slightly ahead, putting your timeline off? Well, I would never say that my timeline could ever be off. How dare you suggest such a thing? Just kidding. Who knows if my timeline is off or not. But I do think the reason why there are no guns in Tangled or Frozen is just because Disney executives don't want to show guns in their movies. The reason why I think that is because if you look at Tangled, it's pretty clear they're basing most everything off of 17 or 1800s France, and if you look at Frozen, in the end of Frozen 2, we see that they have photography technology. So if they're advanced enough to have photography, then this is definitely a time when guns were available. But nobody ever uses a gun. They do use crossbows, however, in both movies. So what I think is going on is simply that in whatever Disney boardroom where they discuss these things, somebody there is saying, hey, we want to be really kid-friendly, so no guns allowed, but you're allowed to use crossbows instead. As far as the in-universe reason why we don't see guns, I would say maybe it's because we never see war in either of those movies, and usually when people are pulling out the crossbows, it's to apprehend one specific person, like Flynn Rider or Elsa. So I would say that's why we see no guns. I think guns do exist in those universes, we just don't see them in the movies. This last comment comes from Emmanuel Charles Tobias for the When and Where Does Lilo and Stitch Take Place video, and this is a request comment. He says, please do When and Where for Finding Nemo, Cars, Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, The Avengers, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Avengers Age of Ultron, Inside Out, and Captain America Civil War. So thank you for those requests, and I always appreciate you guys sending your requests in. Believe it or not, those requests dictate pretty much every video I do. When you guys request a video, especially when several people request it, or you request it several times, that gets first priority. So thank you for those requests. I will be doing Inside Out soon and Finding Nemo soon as well, and I have kind of done Cars already. I did a history behind Cars video, so that video is out if you want to see that. But if you guys want a standard when and where for Cars, I think that would be pretty easy because all that research is now done. As far as the Marvel movies, so I was struggling a little bit with what to do with Marvel because I love the Marvel movies, you guys love the Marvel movies, But Disney has actually been kind enough to come out with a book that is an official timeline of the MCU. So if you want to know when each movie takes place, that's already out there. And I also wondered whether I should do a when and where, because so many of the places in the MCU are really obvious. We know that Iron Man takes place in California. We know where Wakanda is supposed to be, and Sokovia and all that. So what I've decided to do instead is I'm making a series called the Hidden History series, where I'm going to go in and analyze the Marvel movies, but rather than just telling when and where they take place, I'm analyzing the history behind what we see. So for example, I released the Hidden History of Iron Man video, and that explored how Iron Man and Tony Stark is really connected to Howard Hughes. There was this real guy who was basically Tony Stark in real life, and that's where we get the Tony Stark character, is a lot of from that guy's history. I also looked at the real Iron Man technology and the way people are taking what they see in the movie and building it in real life, talking about the real arc reactor type stuff that's going on in the world. And it was a really, really fun video to make, and hopefully it's a really fun video to watch. And I'm hoping to make a lot more, so those are coming soon. However, also because the Marvel movies are not straight Disney movies, I am making those monthly exclusives for YouTube members and patrons on Patreon. So if you want to have access to those, please become a channel member or sign up over on Patreon. Also on there, I've got videos on Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon. So if you like DreamWorks movies and other stuff that's not strictly Disney, again, that's where I'm putting that stuff to kind of keep the main channel Disney content, but also cover the other movies that I'm a huge fan of and you're probably a huge fan of. Those are available through Patreon and YouTube channel memberships. All right, so there you have it. Those are some of the great comments that you guys have left. Please keep watching, please keep commenting, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.